Hi, today we're going to join together the quilt blocks that we've been making on and off for the last year. You will need to have squared up your blocks as accurately as possible. If you haven't yet done this, go back to the previous video in the series. I will add a link in the description for it, and that explains how to do that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is lay out all the quilt blocks to figure out what order you want them to go together in. I've already done this, and what I've done is I've stacked each row together. So we're going to work on the first row. What we're going to do is line them up in the correct order. If you lay them out in front of you, you'll actually be able to see the correct orientation, and you won't mess up. So with them laid out in front of you, flip block 2 over on top of block 1. The right side should be facing. Sew down the right hand side using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now press that seam outward. Repeat this to add block 3 to the end, and press that seam outward also. So we're going to do exactly the same thing for the other rows, but remember to alternate the way you press the seams. So row 2, the seams will both be pressed inward toward the centre block, and then row 3 they'll be pressed outward. So once you've got all the rows ready, you're going to join them together. This is significantly easier if you alternated those seams. So we need to ensure that the seams are all sat together properly. Take a pin and pop it through the seams where 2 blocks join. Because of the way that you press the seams, they'll sit together nicely. So you'll have one pointing one way, one pointing the other way, and it'll allow you to easily line them up. So once that's pinned in place, move to the next seam and do the same thing. If your blocks are trimmed properly, the seams should sit perfectly together. So once that's done, sew across the edge. Then open up the seam and press. Continue doing this until all of your rows are joined. So I'm going to go off and give this entire thing a bit of a run over with the iron, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the finished quilt top. And there we go, finally a quilt top all ready to quilt. All those blocks came together really nicely in the end. I'm still undecided whether to make more of the blocks and make this bigger, or stick with what I've done and just get to quilting it. But I will, in a future video, let you know how that's gone, because we're going to move on to a binding video once this is all quilted up. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel.